Hey guys, welcome to Commander Lounge. This is going to be a little bit of a different deck tech. I know I've been doing Pauper, and I've been straying away from Commander, and I am called the Commander Lounge, but right now I'm kind of out of Commander decks to show you. Maybe I'll start doing like Friends Commander decks or some deck techs on here. But yeah, for now I got a Legacy deck tech. I don't know if I'm going over to the spiky side of things, but yeah, I just really wanted to start playing something more competitive. And like modern, I'm gonna eventually play modern too. I can actually take this deck and do some things to make it modern playable too, and not make it the typical Affinity deck. But yeah, for you guys, this is my Legacy Affinity deck I built. This is also a budget Legacy deck. I really don't know how it runs yet. Like I just recently, like it's not even fully built yet. I just have proxies in here and in place for it. But yeah, on TCG Player you can build this deck for only like $311. And I know you guys are gonna be like, oh my god, that's a couple $100 for a deck, but I mean in Legacy, like sometimes that doesn't even cover your land base in Legacy, so that's not bad. $300 for Eternal format is not bad at all. So yeah, let's get into the deck. This is my aggro Affinity deck. This is not gonna be your typical Affinity deck that you're used to. And yeah, in Legacy, it's non-existent. So I'm just seeing if it ends up working. So yeah, first we got a full playset of Seed of Cyanide. Or Cyanide, or whatever it's called. Got to keep that artifact count up. Then we have a full playset of Great Furnace. And then you have to have a full playset of Darksteel Citadel because it's an indestructible land. And you run a full playset of Insult Artifact in here, so that's why this is in here for the Insult Artifact combo, to make it absolutely aggressive. Just be careful when you're playing, decks that play white, or splash for white for Path of Exile or Swords of Plowshare. And then we have Inkmoth Nexus, which is, it's tap 1 colorless, and you can pay 1, turn it into a 1/1 artifact, Blinkmoth artifact flying creature until end of turn that has Infect. And this is like your alternate win condition. This is the way you win out of the blue. You have this land out and you just put Cranial Plating and get in for the win. Or if you already have some infect going on throughout the game, like kind of tempo and infect damage, you could put for 1 turn, put an Insult Artifact on it and get in for 5 for a second, and then it falls off when it becomes a land again. So yeah, there's my other proxy. Yay! I need to get another Inkmoth really bad. And this is pretty much Mox Opal is like 2/3 of the deck's price. 2/3 of the deck will be Mox Opal. Like, yeah, it's being reprinted in Modern Masters, so that's amazing. This is great for anybody that wants to build this deck, because pretty soon Mox Opal is going to go down in price a little bit, like hopefully at least $10, But it's Mythic, so it's probably going to still, it's being printed as Mythic again, which it should be because it's absolutely broken. So it, it's just it has to go in every single Affinity deck, because being able to pay 0 and tap for any color is good. Like it's basically just it's your best form of ramp. It's your best turn of doing insane stuff on turn 1. You need Mox Opal to do that. Run a full playset of that, and then we have Springleaf Drum, which is awesome. I was thinking about putting in Lotus Petal in here, but I think you have to have permanent land fixing, especially when it comes to my sideboard. Like it goes into, because it's originally this Affinity deck, this Affinity aggro deck, it originally goes, I think it's only 3 colors, and the one black doesn't even really matter, because with Vault Scourge you basically always pay 2 life unless you're up against, unless you have nothing else to cast and you have extra mana up. But yeah, it's originally Grixis, but then once you go into the sideboard, I think it adds white, and it gets a little more black intensive for Thoughtseize. So yeah, Springleaf Drum is a great include in this. You need a play set of those. And then, with just because how aggro this deck is, you gotta have Thoughtcast in this deck, because you need to keep on refilling. You will dump your hand on turn 1. If you don't dump your hand on turn 1, you're dumping it on turn 2. And that's why Thoughtcasts are in here. Got a full play set of those. And then we have a 1 of Thirst for Knowledge. This is a card that I might take out later, but right now I think it's alright, because I was trying to think, I was like, 4 Thoughtcast doesn't seem enough draw. Like I really want to have like 6 kind of ways to kind of reload, but Thirst for Knowledge, I can't afford to put 2 in this deck. I do not want to go above two converted mana cost. Like, I want everything to cost 0. Like, that's what I love so much about this deck, is that essentially there's so much that you're getting for nothing that you're just putting out there for 0 and 0 and 0. And then you got Affinity, so that, may cost 1 or 0, depending on the card. But yeah, if you guys don't know what Thirst for Knowledge is, it's blue and 2 colorless. You draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. And, it's just really good. It's like I tried to really think, I was thinking about putting Brainstorm, but Brainstorm is terrible in this deck because, it only gets you 1 card. You want to get at least 2 cards. You don't want to just replace 1 card, replace 1 card and get 1 other. You want more than that. And Brainstorm, that's more for like combo and stuff like that and control. And, this you just want as much gas as you can. And that's why I put this in here. It's like a digging divination. So we'll see how it does. Alright, and then for our aggressive creatures, we got Ornithopter, 0 mana cost for a 0/2 flyer. And we got Memnite, 0 cost for a 1/1. I love these cards. That's why I wanted to play this deck, because I want everything for free. And we have Signal Pest, which is really good, not only because when you get a whole bunch of artifacts out there, you can battle cry them up, but also because it can't be blocked except with creatures with flying or reach. And that's really important because you could, you put it's a good target for cranial plating or Ensoul Artifact, which we'll get to that in a second. So that's why Signal Pest is in here. I wish he cost 0, but I think that's asking too much. Vault Scourge, 1-drop, flying, lifelink, 1/1. I mean, I keep thinking, like, this card, maybe I should put a different card in here. But it's just, especially with my main strategy of putting Ensoul Artifact on here, or putting, making him a 5/5 lifelinking flying is real good. And putting, cranial plating on. It just really gets you back in there against the other aggressive decks, so that's why it's in here. And then we have Mirror Enforcers, which this is a card you probably didn't think you were going to see. And I think it's powerful enough, because there are a lot of ways, like, you gotta get a little lucky, but you can play this out on turn 1. And it's, I think 4/4 on turn 1 in Legacy, I don't think that's bad at all. This is for those, this is like when you can't do turn 1 Ensoul Artifact, or you haven't seen your cranial plating it yet. Mirror Enforcer kind of is that backup to be aggressive. So yeah, we got a playset of Mirror Enforcers. And then we have, because this is aggressive deck, you have to have Galvanic Blast, because, it's removal, it's to the face. With Metalcraft, it's 4 damage for 1. It's the best. Like, in this deck, it outclasses Lightning Bolt. It's amazing. I absolutely love this card. And you have a full playset of those guys. Because, you want to have some to remove and some to do to the face. And I have a 1-of Welding Jar in here. I was thinking about making it a 2-of with taking out Thirst for Knowledge, but I really do want the draw. But I think, having 1 in here is fine. Because, with, if Ensoul Artifact, the big problem with Ensoul Artifact, yes, 2 mana for 5 to make something a 5/5. Is absolutely broken. And that's why it's so conditional, where you have to do it to an artifact. But with, when you, it's just more, it's better to have it, even though it can, you can remove somebody, and if you don't put it on Darksteel Citadel, someone could just use removal and be like, okay, well, there's your 2 for, they just 2-for-1 you. And that's why Welding Jar is in here, to kind of keep those 2-for-1s. Which most of the time you'll have cranial plating backed up, and that's why I'm running, which you'll see in a second, is a playset of Ensoul Artifacts. So these are my ways of winning the game. Ensoul Artifact, I've been talking about the whole time. It is an amazing card. This is another big reason why I want to build this deck. I love this card. It's not really that good in draft, it's not good in draft, because I tried to push this deck. I whole Darksteel Citadels and Ensoul Artifact, try to make that deck happen. Yeah, that deck was terrible. If you guys ever go back to the past and draft M15, don't try to build this deck. It's dumb. But yeah, this card is just so amazing. You can do this turn 1 to a Darksteel Citadel, make a 5/5 indestructible turn 1. That's pretty good in Legacy, I think. I know that there are turn 1 wins in Legacy, but still, I think this is still pretty good. You know, you can put it on your flyers. You know, evasive, signal pests. It is your one way of, you know, kind of aggroing them out. And get a playset of those. And the reason why I run a playset is because there are ways you can put, you know, 2 of them out on turn 1. I don't think it's not terrible to have 2 of these in your starting hand, and that's why I'm fine with running a playset. Cranial plating, I don't think this needs any explanation. You're playing artifacts, you're playing this card. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it makes, you know, Inkmoth Nexus a secondary win condition, so it has to be a playset in here. So yeah, that's the main deck, and now we're going to get to my sideboard. My sideboard I just kind of threw together. I had to grab some pieces for it, but I think it's pretty decent. I put Aethersworn Canoness in here, mainly for like those types of stormy decks, or any type of, any type of decks that really gets, you know, extra spells. I mean, this can shut down Snapcaster Mage, which I was thinking maybe I can put in against, you know, any type of, you know, Delver decks and stuff like that, because I know everybody playing Delver is playing Snapcaster Mage, because that card's amazing. This kind of shuts off Snapcaster. And we run 2 of those in the sideboard. And then I run a full playset of Phyrexian Revokers. You know, mainly against, shut off Jace, the Mind Sculptor, shut off. You can shut off Stoneforge Mystic when she tries to, you know, activate the ability to just throw down Batterskull. I mean, if you find a way to kill Batterskull when it comes out as a germ, I'm pretty sure it shuts off its equip cost, so you can't equip it, so it's just an artifact that sits out there, so that kind of shuts it down. So, I mean, I guess it's mainly for the Esper Blade. There's probably other decks it'll be good in, but I run a full playset just because it's a creature. I wish it costs a little less, but once again, I think I'm asking for too much again. So yeah, full playset of Phyrexian Revokers. And then we have Termod's Crypt. This was the one thing I was unsure about until, like, I think like a day ago, because I was recently picking up Grafdigger's Cage, and it's you know, Grafdigger's Cage is amazing because, you know, it shuts off Snapcaster Mage too, you know, it shuts off, you know, the flashbacks and stuff like that. But I think Termod's Crypt's just a lot more important in here. I mean, regardless, it's good with your affinity count to keep something like this out, but it's also good because it's the mana cost. It's mainly, you know, just getting 0 out, because a lot of times you want to throw everything down, and sometimes, you know, if you have something that costs even 1 or 2, it can mess up your plans on what you're doing, especially if you missed your Mox Opal on your first turn. You know, so that's why I got a full play set of them. They're 0. Yeah, that was a foily one. Woo, pretty. Alright, now we have Thoughtseize. For this will probably go in again in most of my sideboards. I mean, I think, you know, like Stoneblade, you gotta have it. Delver, you gotta have it. You know, you gotta have it for pretty much everything. You know, maybe it should have been a main board, but I think I just want to be really aggressive on the start, and then once I know what I'm going against, Thoughtseize is just amazing. So I run 2 of those. I'm thinking about running 3, but I think 2 is good for now. Against anything aggressive, like you know, I think it's you know, that tax death, whatever it is, death and taxes, and which isn't really, I mean, it's, you know, against hate bears and goblins, it's really good against them. So that's why Whip Flare's in here. Got 3 of those, and that is my Affinity Aggro Legacy deck. Now, once again, it's around $300. And it's just, you know, I don't know how it plays just yet. You know, it could be an absolutely terrible deck to play in Legacy, but, you know, I'm going to give it a try. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to ever even take this deck apart, because it's just a deck that I've always wanted to build. And I think Mox Opals kind of held me back. And then once I saw, you know, in the spoilers of Modern Masters 2015 that they were reprinting it, I was like, there's hope for me to actually play this deck. So yeah, maybe in the future, once I get all the cards, because surprisingly, this is going to be cheaper to play than my modern version of this deck, which the modern version is more expensive because of cards like Glimmer Void and Blinkmoth Nexus, and I need a full playset of Inkmoths. But yeah, so the Legacy version's cheaper than the modern version of this deck. Yeah, so yeah, let me know what you guys think of this deck. Definitely let me know if there's cards that I should be putting in here, because there were some cards I wasn't sure about putting in here, like the Thirst for Knowledge. I mean, I think if you guys know any more very aggressive draw spells that I'm missing, that could be good in this deck, that would be greatly appreciated, because, you know, this deck is not, you know, it's not fully finished, I guess. I mean, I think it is, but, you know, if I'm missing something, you guys let me know. And, yeah, you guys have a good day. Like, favorite, subscribe, and take it easy.